Hey guys, it's Beth and welcome back to my channel. What we're going to do today is we're going to make a garland out of greenery and flowers. They're both actually going to be real, and I have seen it in tons of magazines lately. So I decided it would be a fun option for us to do together. What you're going to need for the garland is lots of greenery. I've got a picture right here full of a good bit of it I was able to pull out of my yard. Then we need wire to bind it with. I'm going to use what's actually called, I am so sorry, I've tried to take this quite a few times and our dog just won't be quiet, so please excuse. We're going to use something called binding wire, and that wraps the stems and keeps almost a separation between the wire and the flower. We're going to, one option, which is what I did for this one, is using water picks. And what you do is fill these up, then you just stick your flower down in it. It's great because you can do it. I did all of these flowers the night before. The other option is, well, probably lots of options. The only two I know of is you use something called an igloo. I ordered these guys off Amazon, and it's just wet foam housed in a plastic little case, which actually is watertight. You're gonna put the little igloo at different places along your garland, and then you can stick your flowers right into that. The other few things you'll need are a good pair of snips. I prefer to use wire cutters if possible when using wire. If you're gonna do it this way, then you'll need water picks. I think I got these at Michael's. And so let's get started. So what I like to do is go ahead and get all my materials ready. I went ahead and cut my wire, and I cut it in about 1.5 feet length. I would rather have too much and trim it than not have enough. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a bigger piece of greenery. This is silver doll eucalyptus, and we're gonna take lemon leaf behind it. Then, not sure what, but I cut it out of my yard. I know this is Dusty Miller. That's basically what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna take my binding wire and pretty much get it in half. I'll try to zero in on this, but I'm gonna put the wire under my right thumb. I'm gonna take the other side of the wire and wrap it so that I catch that wire, and wrap it maybe one more time. And I'm gonna take the other wire that's loose and run it in between the greens, which actually cut that green, which is fine. And then pull it up opposite and make it as tight as I can. You can clip the stems so they're all at the same length, and you can put it in water overnight or for a couple of nights if you want to go ahead and make these ahead of time. So it's one less thing you need to do Thanksgiving or leading up to Christmas. Then you're gonna just set it down, and you're gonna get your igloo, which I think is under here. And what I do is I go ahead and stick a couple of greenery in the igloo, so you don't have to cover it necessarily with that, because it would end up being really high off the ground or off the table. And that way you can put a flower in the top and it'll cover it up almost completely. All right, so what I did was I got it ready so that you have the ability to just kind of fish this in there, and that way I would add a little bit more green. But if you use the igloo on a garland, you probably need a bigger garland than what I made earlier. So you may need actually a few more bunches. Now we're ready to go. So what I started with was I soaked the igloos for about 3 minutes each. I went ahead and laid the greens out and put the igloos about every 8 inches. I went ahead and cut my flowers ahead of time, and I cut my larger blooms the shortest because I wanted to make sure two things: that they covered up the igloo and that they got the greatest water source. Then I cut the rest of them at varying lengths, knowing the most important part was that each flower reached that igloo so it had a water source. To me, that was the biggest part of this whole arrangement, was making sure each flower had a source so that it stayed fresh and pretty on my table. I hope you guys enjoyed this project. I know I did, putting it together. Please, oh please, leave comments if you have any questions or if you have ideas that you'd like to do for your centerpiece. I would very much enjoy helping with that process. So if you did enjoy it, give it a like, maybe even subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video and a new project.